Welcome back to the Warp Gate, everybody. Ready for more Horus Heresy.
Always ready for a good dose of galactic treachery.
Last time, we left off on the brutal drop site massacre, right?
Yeah.
Iswan V betrayal, virus bombs, just dollars brother against brother. Ugh. Dark times.
A pivotal moment, really. A descent into utter chaos.
Right. But this time, let's rewind a bit. Before the massacre.
For the bloodshed, yeah.
Let's dig into what led to that point. Like, what kind of whispers, what shadows started pulling Horus and his legions down that path?
A question that has haunted the Imperium for millennia. How could the War Master, the Emperor's most trusted son, turn? What could twist someone like that, so powerful, so loyal, to betray his own father, his own ideals, and embrace the very thing they were fighting against?
Yeah, I mean, talk about a mind-boggling fall from grace. It's almost unfathomable. Like, what could possibly drive someone to that extreme? There's got to be something we're missing, right? Some piece of the puzzle.
Well, the whispers from the vaults of the Inquisition, they might offer some insight. One name emerges from the shadows: Erebus, first chaplain of the Wordbearers Legion.
Okay, I'm vaguely familiar, but remind me, what's the deal with this guy?
The ancient records, they paint a chilling portrait of this individual, seething with resentment towards the Emperor, fervently, almost fanatically devoted to chaos. He saw it as the true power of the galaxy.
Okay, so we've got a resentful chaplain with a taste for chaos.
Mhm.
But how does a chaplain, even one, let's say, as enthusiastic as Erebus, sway the War Master? It's the War Master of the entire Imperium we're talking about. That's a long shot, isn't it?
Oh, Erebus was more than just a devout follower. The Inquisition reveals that he was a master manipulator. Incredibly cunning, he orchestrated events, nudged Horus down a path, with a patience that rivals even the Emperor himself.
Okay, hold on. I'm intrigued. Give me the juicy details here. We're talking full-on puppet master, strings and all, or what?
It's subtler than that. The Inquisition records point to the discovery of a chaos artifact, the Anathemon.
Anathema. Now that sounds ominous.
Erebus led a word-bearers expedition under the guise of a religious crusade to the planet Davin. His true purpose: to unearth this artifact. A weaponized psychic entity, it had a direct link to the warp and all its denizens.
Weaponized psychic entity. You had to break that down for me. We talking psychic lasers. Mind control.
Imagine a being of pure psychic energy, but instead of just invading your mind, it amplified all the negative emotions within you: fear, anger, hatred. The anathema was a tool of corruption. It could warp even the strongest souls. A virus, but for the spirit.
Okay, that's just messed up. I'm starting to see how Erebus might have used this thing to his advantage, but how does Horus get tangled up in all of this? I mean, the guy was basically the poster boy for loyalty and strength.
The records point to a campaign on the planet of Zenobia. Horus was gravely wounded.
Ah, so here comes the vulnerability.
His sons, the Luna Wolves, were desperate to save their Primarch. They were looking for any way to heal him, any way to avoid losing their leader.
Desperate times, desperate measures. And who conveniently shows up with a chaos artifact that can heal the sick? Enter Erebus.
Precisely. The whispers of chaos, they promise quick solutions, but the price, the consequences, they echo through eternity. Erebus, disguised as a benevolent healer, offered to use his divine powers.
Hold on, we talking the Luna Wolves here, some of the most elite warriors in the galaxy. They didn't have any suspicions about this random healer popping up at just the right time. Come on.
Desperation can cloud even the sharpest minds. Seeing their Primarch on the brink of death, they chose to believe, to hope. And Erebus used the Anasame to heal Horus, but in doing so, he bound the War Master's soul to chaos, infected him at the most fundamental level.
Talk about a wolf in sheep's clothing. Did the Luna Wolves ever figure out what he actually did?
The records are fragmented, obscured by time and by the manipulations of chaos itself. But what we do know is Horus started changing after his healing. Subtle, but there.
Like what? What kind of changes?
The Inquisition reveals a growing paranoia, a thirst for power he never had before, a ruthlessness.
So the Horus, everyone knew. The noble War Master, he was already slipping away, even before Istvan V, like a shadow falling over him.
The whispers of chaos, they had taken root. They twisted his intentions, his goals, promised him power, dominion. He started seeing threats everywhere, enemies where there were once allies.
Man, that's just heartbreaking. To think a hero like Horus could be manipulated like that, so completely corrupted. Right. Chilling reminder of how insidious chaos really is.
Indeed. But Horus wasn't the only one. The tendrils of chaos, they reached far and wide. Others in Horus's inner circle, they felt too. The records speak of Fulgrim, of the Emperor's children, seduced by promises of perfection, of artistic transcendence. and Mortarion, the Death Guard, driven by a bitter resentment towards the Emperor, but their stories are for another time.
Man, this is heavy stuff. We're talking a galaxy-spanning conspiracy here. Erebus pulling strings, that chaos artifact, Horus being corrupted. It's a lot to unpack.
It is. But as we delve deeper into the Horus Heresy, we'll see how these seemingly small events, the discovery of the anathema, Horus's wounding, Erebus's manipulations, they had a ripple effect. They changed the course of history.
Okay, so where do we go from here? What's the next piece of this twisted puzzle?
The whispers from the warp tell us of a pivotal event, one that solidified Horus's fall. A ritual. On a world steeped in chaos, a place of nightmares and shadows, malevolence. It's there that Horus fully embraced his dark destiny and set the galaxy on a path to war.
Malevolence. Even the name sends chills down my spine. Sounds like the perfect setting for a descent into utter darkness.
Malevolence is a place where the veil between reality and the warp is thin. Demons roam freely. The very air crackles with chaotic energy. It's on that cursed world, in the heart of a ritual designed to bind him to chaos, that will witness the true extent of Horus's fall from grace.
All right, listeners, brace yourselves. Next time on the Warp Gate, we're venturing into the depths of malevolence to witness the War Master's final descent into darkness. It's going to be a wild ride.
Welcome back to the Warp Gate. We're going deep into the heart of Horus's corruption, the ritual on malevolence.
Yeah, things are about to get real interesting. And by interesting, I mean terrifying. This place, Malevolence, the Inquisition reports, it's like a vortex of chaos energy. Reality's fraying at the edges there. Imagine your worst fever dream, times 1,000. Add some screaming demons for good measure.
Malevolence is a chilling example of what happens when chaos gains a foothold in the material realm. It's a world utterly consumed by the warp, a breeding ground for demons, nightmares made flesh.
I get goosebumps just thinking about it. So what exactly went down there on this chaos-infested planet? The Inquisition reports mention a ritual, but the details are pretty, well, intense.
The secrecy surrounding the ritual is thick, woven from nightmares, you could say. But from what the Inquisition's been able to piece together, Erebus orchestrated a grand ceremony. It was designed to completely bind Horus to the Chaos Gods.
With some kind of twisted coronation, crowning him the champion of chaos. Were there others involved? Familiar faces. I bet Lorgar was loving it.
The records confirm Lorgar was there, Primarch of the Word-Bearers. Fulgrim, too, Primarch of the Emperor's Children, both already steeped in chaos worship.
Right. So, Horus, surrounded by chaos-loving Primarchs on a demon world and some twisted ritual, what exactly do they do to him?
It was a multi-layered process. Imagine Horus, weakened, vulnerable from his injuries on Zenobia, and they subject him to these agonizing trials, breaking his spirit, shattering his resolve, forcing him to confront his deepest fears, doubts, anger, resentment towards the Emperor, all while this raw chaos energy is bombarding him.
That's just brutal. I mean, a Primarch broken down like that, twisted and manipulated, hard to even imagine what he must have gone through.
Remember, chaos doesn't just rely on brute force. It preys on weakness, doubt, despair. It twists noble goals, turns strength into a lust for power. This ritual on malevolence, it was about shattering Horus's spirit, poisoning his very soul, remaking him in the image of chaos.
And did it? Did this ritual have lasting effects? I mean, the Inquisition files mention some pretty disturbing changes to his appearance.
The ritual, it changed Horus, irrevocably, physically and mentally. The changes weren't always immediate or obvious, but they were profound. His features, once noble, they started warping, a grotesque reflection of his former glory. His armor, too, once a symbol of imperial might, twisted into this demonic carapace, whispering with the voices of the warp.
So the War Master, he was literally transformed, a reflection of the chaos he embraced. Disturbing visual. But mentally, what about his mind?
The Horus who emerged from malevolence, he was a twisted shadow, his ideals corrupted. Dreams of a unified imperium replaced by a lust for power and dominion. He saw himself as a rightful ruler, destined to overthrow the Emperor, ushering in a new age of darkness.
Like watching a hero become the villain. Tragic fall from grace on a galactic scale. And with that, the stage was set for the Horus Heresy, right? The War Master, corrupted, empowered by chaos, leading his legions against the Imperium, the very thing he swore to protect.
The seeds of betrayal had been sown. The whispers of the warp became a roar, and the storm of chaos was about to break.
So we've seen how this whole insidious plot unfolded. But it didn't happen in a vacuum, right? How did the rest of the Imperium react? Were there those who saw the darkness growing in Horus, tried to stop it? Or was everyone just completely blindsided?
It's a good question. While the full extent of Horus's corruption remained hidden from most, there are those who sensed the shift. Whispers of dissent, concern, even among some of his brothers, but Horus was the War Master, the Emperor's chosen son. Questioning his loyalty was dangerous, tantamount to treason. Few were willing to risk that.
So fear, loyalty, maybe even a little denial, all played a part in allowing Horus to consolidate his power and continue down this dark path, like a perfect storm, leading to the Horus Heresy.
Exactly. The seeds were sown long before malevolence, but it was there, on that demon world, that they truly took root.
Incredibly tragic. Where do we go from here? What's the next chapter?
The echoes of the work, they tell of a gathering storm. The moment Horus revealed his treachery to the galaxy. It marks the true beginning of the Horus Heresy, a betrayal that would scar the Imperium forever. We're talking about the Istvan system.
Istvan. The name alone sends shivers down my spine. It's become synonymous with betrayal. Brother turning on brother, horrors of war.
And it's there, in the fires of Istvan, that we'll truly witness the destructive power of chaos unleashed, as Horus sets his sights on those who remain loyal to the Emperor.
This is getting intense. Can't wait to dive into the next chapter of this galactic tragedy.
And join us next time as we explore the events that set the galaxy ablaze right here on the Warp Gate.
Back again for the Warp Gate. We're at the edge of, well, a galaxy-shattering event. Horus, corrupted, soul poisoned by that ritual on malevolence. He's gathering his forces, about to reveal his true colors, and it ain't gonna be pretty.
Istvan. A name that's chilling, really. A testament to Horus's rebellion, to the destructive power of chaos. It's where the War Master, he chose to make his stand, to unleash everything against those still loyal to the Emperor.
Like a wildfire, about to engulf the galaxy. Set the scene for us. What was the situation at Istvan before it all went to hell?
The records paint a picture of calculated deception. Horus was leading a campaign against a supposed rebellion in the Istvan system, a clever ruse, drawing in loyalist legions under the pretense of a unified imperial force.
Wow, using their loyalty against him. Cold, even for a chaos-corrupted war master. So which legions did he bring to Istvan for this orchestrated massacre?
4 legions, his own sons of Horus, of course. The World Eaters, under Angron, the Emperor's children, led by Fulgrim, and Mortarian's Death Guard, a terrifying lineup, even without the taint of chaos.
Yeah, that's some serious firepower. 3 Primarchs already sworn to chaos, like bringing a nuke to a knife fight.
Yeah.
Who are the unlucky souls in the receiving end of this?
3 loyalist legions, the Iron Hands under Ferrus Manos, the Salamanders, led by Vulcan, and the Raven Guard, with Korax at their helm. They arrived expecting to join a united front, completely unaware of the horrors waiting for them.
Can you imagine? Thinking you're going to fight alongside your brothers for the Emperor, and then bam, a trap, orchestrated by the War Master himself. Must have been a hell of a shock.
The Iron Hands, they're fascinating, aren't they? Relentless pursuit of technological perfection, bodies augmented with steel, machinery. They embody the Emperor's vision of humanity's evolution, but even their cold logic couldn't have prepared them for the betrayal at Istvan.
Seems like Horus planned this meticulously. Was it just one big battle, or did this betrayal unfold over time?
Istvan became a crucible of betrayal, a multi-layered nightmare. It unfolded in stages. The first wave, what we now call the drop site massacre at Istvan V, the loyalist legions were caught completely off guard. Horus unleashed the virus bombs, turned brother against brother, sowed chaos. The planet became a bloodbath.
We touched on the drop site massacre last time, but it's worth repeating. This wasn't just a battle. It was a massacre. Deliberate, brutal, setting the stage for even worse to come. But Istvan V, that was just the beginning, right?
Indeed. Horus had a darker plan in store for the survivors. He broadcasted a distress call, drawing the remaining loyalist forces to Istvan III, under the guise of offering aid, evacuation, a cruel deception, playing on their compassion, their sense of duty.
So the loyalists, thinking they're going to rescue their brothers, they fly straight into the trap.
They descended upon Istvan III, hoping to help, only to find themselves surrounded by the full might of the traitor legions. The massacre that followed was unimaginable.
It's like Horus is playing some kind of twisted game, moving his pieces across a board, sacrificing pawns for some greater goal. Hard to comprehend the scale of this betrayal. So we're talking multiple engagements across multiple planets.
The fighting raged across the entire Istvan system, a clash of titans. Brother against brother, legion against legion. The loyalists, outnumbered, outmaneuvered. They fought bravely with determination, but the tide had turned. Their trust was shattered, their hearts heavy with the weight of betrayal.
And what about the Primarchs leading those loyalist legions? Ferrus Manus, Vulcan, Corax. Did any of them survive?
Their fates, a tale of tragedy and heroism. Ferrus Manus met his end at the hands of Fulgrim, his former brother, his friend, a brutal duel fueled by betrayal and despair. Imagine it. Ferrus Manus, his body augmented with metal, his hands replaced with weapons, falling to Fulgrim's corrupted blade, his soul swallowed by the darkness that had gripped his brother.
It's almost Shakespearean, isn't it? This fall from grace. Brother against brother. Makes the whole conflict feel so personal, so tragic.
The Salamanders and Raven Guard, they managed to escape the Istvan system, but not without heavy losses. Vulcan disappeared amidst the chaos. His fate remains a mystery. Some whisper he still walks the galaxy, a beacon of hope in dark times.
And Corax. What about the Raven Guard Primarch? They're known for being stealthy, cunning. Surely they would have seen this coming.
Corax, realizing the depth of the betrayal, the futility of fighting, he led his legion in a desperate escape from Istvan Vate. They vanished into the void, their tactics shifting from open warfare to shadow strikes, hit-and-run attacks against the forces of chaos.
So even in defeat, glimmers of hope, moments of defiance against the darkness, reminds us that even when broken, betrayed, the human spirit can find a way to fight back.
The Istvan system. It stands as a turning point in the Horus Heresy, a bloody testament to the power of chaos. And to the depths of Horus's betrayal, the galaxy was irrevocably changed. The dream of a unified Imperium, a beacon of hope, shattered, replaced by the grim reality of a galaxy consumed by war.
We started trying to understand what could push someone like Horus, the Emperor's favorite son, to such extremes. Seeing the scale of the atrocities committed in his name, it's a question that weighs even heavier now.
The Horus Heresy, it's a stark reminder of the fragility of loyalty, of the seductive power of chaos, the devastating consequences of ambition and betrayal. A cautionary tale for the ages. It echoes through the millennia of the Imperium's history, reminding us that even the strongest, the most noble, can fall. Vigilance, unwavering faith in the Emperor's light. That's all that stands between humanity and utter annihilation.
It's a lot to process, isn't it? The sheer scale, the brutality, the betrayal, makes you question the very nature of humanity.
Indeed. But remember, this is just the beginning. The war for the soul of the Imperium has only just begun. Countless battles, betrayals, tragedies still to unfold.
Well, listeners, I don't know about you, but I need a moment to just absorb all this.
Yeah.
The weight of history, the echoes of these ancient battles, they linger.
Take heart. Even in the darkest times, hope flickers, resilience endures. The battle for the Imperium's soul is far from over. And the stories of heroism, sacrifice, faith, they emerged from the fires of the Horus Heresy, and they continue to inspire even today.
Until next time, on the Warp Gate. Stay vigilant. Keep those bolters loaded. Your faith in the Emperor strong. The darkness is vast, but the light of the Imperium, however dim, it still burns.